Monitor of democracy and constitutionalism. Is that a good acronym for you? Citizens Monitor of Democracy and Constitutionalism. Monitor us all. Monitor those in power. Monitor those whose salaries you are paying. Monitor those whose pensions you are paying. How would I translate it? I was going to speak in Urdu, but for the respect to our foreign guests, I decided to change to English, and probably उर्दू में इसको शायद कहा जाए जमहूरियत और आइन के शहरी निगरान. शायद आप में से जो बेहतर उर्दू जानते हैं वो बता सकेंगे. जमहूरियत और आइन के शहरी निगरान. And let's have a black, grey and a white list. Let me start with my own institution. यानी कि काली, सुरमाई और सफेद लिस्टें बनाइए. Not of institutions but of individuals within the institutions. Now, let me speak about my institutions. I don't want to raise fingers at other institutions. In my personal opinion, and I now speak as a student of law, not as a judge. I speak as a student of history, not as a judge. I speak as a student of politics. I would put in the black list Justice Muhammad Munir. I would put in the black list Justice Anwarul Haq. I would put in the black list Justice Irshad Hassan Khan. I would put in the white list Justice Constantine, Justice Villani, Justice Bachal, Justice Mohammad Bakhsh. And we have a grey list. There are too many names there, let's ignore it for the time being. And now, if I may dare so and consider the executive, I will put in the black list General Ayub, General Zia, General Pervez Musharraf. Now, I'm not making any sort of statement, but I would put in the white list two white Englishmen, not because they are white. Now that took you by surprise, didn't I? The first Commander-in-Chief of the Pakistan Army, General Sir Frank Walter Massey. He fought in the First and the Second World Wars, and he was the first Commander-in-Chief of Pakistan, of United Pakistan, of one Pakistan. I would put it in a higher, even a whiter of a white list would be General Sir Douglas Gracie. And why do I put him? Why do I put the second Commander-in-Chief of the Pakistan Army in that list? I would put him in that list. And now my source of information is a book written by a brother of an army chief. The army chief was General Asif Nawaz. From 91 to 93, he was the army chief. And his brother was Shuja Nawaz. And his book is Crossed Swords, Pakistan, its Army and Wars Within. If you get an opportunity, do buy it and read it. And he narrates an incident here. He said General Ayub wanted a plot and applied to General Sir Douglas Gracie, his superior commanding officer. He was rebuffed. So here begins the politics of plots. The politics of plots is very interesting in Pakistan. So whether it was and I don't want to raise fingers on other institutions, because they say when you raise a finger, 4 point towards you. Let me address the fingers pointing towards me. And my institution and those within it, there is, as you know, Article 19A of the Constitution of Pakistan. It's one of the many countries, or many civilized countries of the world do not have this. It's a right to access to information in all matters of public importance. Now, someone filed a writ petition somewhere, I read about it in the newspaper, that the Supreme Court has filed a writ petition and the case is pending before the High Court. What? Nobody asked me. I'm supposed to be a judge of the Supreme Court. Registrar Supreme Court. Is he more powerful than me? Oh, I wrote a letter. I wrote a letter to the Chief Justice of Pakistan. The letter is dated 16 December 2021. And I quote just one line from it. It's a long letter. Can a public institution... let me explain. What had happened was that the Pakistan Information Commission had passed some order regarding some disclosure of some information about employees or whatever of the Supreme Court. I don't know what he asked for because we were never asked, and the registrar took it upon himself to challenge it without taking at least my permission. I don't know whose permission he took, and he went in before the Supreme Court. Now Supreme Court is standing as a litigant before the High Court. I can't wrap my head around that, but let that be. I wrote in my letter, can a public institution funded by taxpayers object if information about it is sought? What was the answer to that letter written on 6th of December 2021? None. Earlier, I am sometimes criticized, ridiculed, castigated, abused for writing letters. How else should I defend the Constitution of Pakistan? How else should I defend your fundamental rights? How else would we make Article 19A meaningful and not a dead letter law? I wrote an earlier letter, 24th of June 2020, addressed to the Chief Justice of Pakistan, that a file came to me offering me a plot in some sector of Islamabad at a nominal price which I could flog next day and earn quite a nice retirement passage. I thought, I looked at our appointing order, the 5th schedule I think it is, which provides what the judge should get, the presidential order, whether we are entitled to this. I couldn't find anything anywhere. I discussed it with my family. My son was a bit naughty. Baba, you don't want it? I can have it for my retirement. Well, anyways, I wrote a letter to the Chief Justice. I said, I have checked the law. I can't find this. Are we entitled to this thing? And if so, can you please provide me with the law on the subject? And can you also provide me, because I wanted to know if anybody has taken plots or not, who amongst the judges have taken plots. Promptly came the answer the next day. And I quote, because you won't believe it if I did not. Laws are available in the law books. In other words, a rebuke from the Chief Justice of Pakistan to his colleagues that how ignorant you are, that you don't know about this law, go find it yourself. And as regards the other aspect of my letter, asking about information, this is personal. It cannot be shared with anyone, quote unquote. No. Now, saddened a bit, hurt a bit, probably a little angry, responded the very same day. And I write, like the proverbial unicorn, I cannot find this law. And those holding office under the Constitution cannot plead confidentiality when they receive something on account of the office they hold. It is not personal information. It is not because I am getting this because of the office I hold, not otherwise. Another letter, another circular comes around, and that you are entitled to get gifts of prohibited war weapons. What? From the Ministry of Interior. So I write again, plead guilty, write too much. 14th of September 2019. I said, how are we entitled to this? Article 25 applies equally to all, including judges. How can we, by the way, there were 9 categories of persons in that list who could get this facility: the President, the Prime Minister, the judges of the superior courts. 7 of them were constitutional office holders, and there were 2 more categories. I won't go into those constitutional because I really want accountability within first. Did I receive an answer? No answer to this one either. So I don't know. We should be grateful to the lady in whose honor this conference is being held. How did she become famous? How did she become known? She became known because of this book, because of a decision in this book. The decision in this book is Miss Asma Jilani, as she then was, versus the government of the Punjab. And the number of the appeal is very interesting. Criminal appeal number 19 of 1972, freedom of speech and expression. So anyway, Asma Jilani, and can you imagine, it's 50 years to the day when this decision happened. Her father, Malik Jilani, was incarcerated under the Defense of Pakistan rules. The other petition, 2 petitions were heard, was by the daughter of Ataf Gohar, the editor of Dawn, who had been picked up under one of those laws. So this was challenged. Now, but don't judges come under pressure, fear? No, they don't. I was Chief Justice for 5 years. Nobody called me to ask anything. So if anybody tells you there is pressure, if anybody tells you pressure, they are not true to their oath of office. If anyone says we are being pressurized with someone, and you can't, as the saying goes, if you can't handle the heat in the kitchen, get out. And if you are pressurized and you sell the country, history will remember you. You all will pass judgment. There won't be any consequences. It will be in the history books. Those persons, like myself, would have gone away. And now, how it saddened me. It brought tears to my eyes when a Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Pakistan said that there was pressure on me, and he said that on television, public television, by General Ziaul Haq to do this judgment in the Zulfikar Ali Bhutto case. Do you hang? Do you take away a person's life because of pressure? If you couldn't handle it, a resignation letter would have sufficed. Let us learn from our own history. Let us not learn from the Professor Hans Kelsen of Austria. Let the Muhammad Munirs, let the Anwarul Haqs learn from the example of Imam Malik, the founder of one of the foremost schools of Islamic law. The former school of, there are 4 Sunni schools of Islamic law. Imam Malik was the first. He lived and died in Medina. His book, Al-Muwatta, those of interested in Islamic history and religion, what did he do and say? He gave a ruling, religious ruling, which we call fatwa, saying that divorce under compulsion is no divorce. Now, on its own you would say, well, why should he suffer for that? Well, he did suffer for that, and I would like to read you his exact words. What the ruler of the day perceived this, because then there was oaths of allegiance used to be taken, Beth, and under compulsion. So the ruler said that by analogy this will be used against me, that if a divorce under compulsion is no divorce, then an oath under allegiance is no divorce. So he was called upon to recant. He said, I will never recant what I believe to be the faith, what I know to be the truth. What happened to him? He was imprisoned. He suffered indignities. He was tortured. Still did not recant. All he had to. Then he was told, stop. Okay, you don't want to recant. Stop telling people about this thing, that divorce under compulsion is no divorce. He didn't do that either. So he was paraded through the streets of Medina. It was a great humiliation for a great scholar to have his beard shaven off. That indignity he suffered, and he was paraded. So if I shave off my beard, probably you may not recognize me. So whilst he was being paraded, he said, Anas bin Abdi, and he introduced himself. He said, those of you who know me, who recognize me, would recognize me that I am Malik, the son of Anas. And those of you who don't know that I am Malik, son of Anas, and I say, divorce under compulsion is no divorce. So this is our glorious tradition. No pressure. Is he the solitary example? No. Come to the another founder of Abu Hanifa, and this part of the world, Muslims, majority at least, are belonging to the Hanafi sect of Islam. What happened to him? He told the ruler, and I should just, he did not, this is after the Umayyad Caliphate was overthrown by the Abbasids, and Safa, as you know, was a barbarian who killed many, and his brother Abu Ja'far al-Mansur was considered the founder of the Abbasid Caliphate, and he did not recognize his authority. This is Imam Abu Hanifa. He was nobody, no judge, he was an ordinary person. He said, the Muslim Republic is founded on the collective endorsement of the people. If I may say for the audience in Urdu, खिलाफत मुसलमानों के इज्तिमा और से होती है, मशवरे से होती है, इज्तिमाई मशवरे से होती है. Laying down the foundation of democracy. What else is democracy? He used to criticize the judgments, the actions of the ruler. So what the ruler did, he said, okay, you know so much, I appoint you as the Chief Justice. He says, no, I will not. I do not accept, because he did not want to accept anything, because he did not consider the rule legitimate. So he was given 110 lashes as punishment. He did not recant. He was then offered, okay, I appoint you as the Mufti. Mufti is the person who could give authoritative finding on a provision of Islamic law. I mean, maybe someone else can better put it, but that's the best I can do. So he was imprisonment, and he died in jail. And he left a will, and this is very significant, and this is what he suffered. And when he died, he left a will, a wasiya. It's a very famous wasiya of Imam Abu Hanifa, which said that do not bury me in any land which is under the illegal occupation of this ruler. So and the ruler, Al-Mansur, responded, when he read this, he said, Man yazarni man Abi Hanifa hayyan wa mayyatan. and if I may translate it, that मुझे अबू हनीफा से कौन बचा सकता है जिंदगी में भी और मरने के बाद भी. In other words, who will save me from Abu Hanifa while he was alive and while he is dead? That even after his death he came to haunt him, that he had put a condition in his will that do not bury me. So this is the glorious tradition, our glorious tradition, which he has forgotten. We have forgotten the democratic traditions of the founder of the country. We have forgotten the constitutionalism that made this country, which made the country united. We should not embark on something new. We should not embark on discovering something else. We should go back and discover old truths which held us good. I am sorry for exceeding my time limit, but I did not get any what is a note verbal in the diplomatic language. So once again, I am truly humbled, and we must salute this diminutive figure. She was a very diminutive figure, but boy,